What is going on, everybody? It is Tuesday night, and it's tonight in Haddonfield on a Tuesday. And if you're surprised I got Dean on the show tonight, I'm more surprised Dean was available to come on the show tonight. So without further ado, Mr. Dean Renner, what's going on, bud?
Impromptu Tuesday tonight in Haddonfield, but my schedule lined up to do it, and I think we have a good big rumor to cover and get into. So can't wait to tackle that.
Yeah, you know, I think it's really important to give people their due when they have something. I won't get into semantics of stuff and popularity contests that go on and whatnot. But anyways, we're doing the show last night. Okay, if you haven't seen it yet, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, last night Dean and I dove into what is basically part one of our Halloween Returns script review series, if you will. Next Monday night, we're going to pit Halloween Returns against Halloween 2018, and during the show, or I guess shortly after the show, I got a message, and it was just short and sweet. Basically, it was, did you see Jimmy's video? And I'll pull the message up here firsthand so I can quote it exactly. And I sent it to Dean this afternoon, or I guess, was it this morning?
Yeah, somewhere in the ballpark of this morning and early this afternoon, but early enough for me to see it.
Yeah. So the message reads this. Yo, my dude, have you watched Jimmy's new video? And the message, or pardon me, the messenger, if you will, means Jimmy Champagne. And I had not seen Jimmy's video. Basically, they go on to state that Jimmy apparently has a point in his new video and that there's something to it. And that may be, in fact, the route that Halloween is taking. Again, this is all rumor, speculation, innuendo. But interestingly enough, those of you who haven't seen Jimmy's video should go over to his channel and check it out. But interestingly enough, man, in his video, he talks about how he's heard and also assumes that we're getting a Halloween movie before Halloween TV series. Did you ever get a chance to go check out his video?
I may have briefly had it on in the background one day and didn't realize it was his most current, and that he was kind of touching on stuff like that. So I may have heard it vaguely kind of in the background, but it's not like I sat and watched it and got every nitty gritty detail from it. But I want to go back and check it out now and see even further what he talks about.
I'll have to put a link to his video in the description of this video. But basically, he talks about how he believes that it's going to be a Halloween movie from Miramax. And yes, let's get this out of the way now. I know there's some people arguing in the Legacy of Halloween group that we run on Facebook. Miramax is the co-owner, or I guess Miramax's parent group, as it BN Media Group. They're the co-owner of the Halloween movie rights.
Mm-hmm.
Now, typically, they go in with Trancas and get another party involved. Miramax doesn't handle the production. Miramax has been the company that pays for the production, if you will. And there seems to be people that are under the assumption just because the TV rights were announced as Miramax, that meant that just Trancas has the movie rights. And that's not the case at all. The movie rights are owned by Trancas, which is a Malacca CAD, and Miramax, or their parent group, as we said. I believe it's BN Media Group. By the way, we'll get to everybody's questions and comments when we can. We have to be off here basically half an hour. We have another show coming up after this one. But yeah, so that was the whole point of Miramax bidding on the TV rights.
Right.
They have someone over there, some creative mind, has a plan to do a cinematic universe. It is literally what they announced publicly via the major trades. Not, we're not rumoring it. Nobody else is rumoring it. This was an official announcement. So they have an idea for some sort of connected universe. And Jimmy in his video points out, and we've talked about this, not necessarily on our show, Dean, on this channel over the years, even on prior channels that we were on before Fandom Empire existed, how it's hard to get people to go to a movie theater if they need to have seen 1 or 2 or 3 seasons of a TV series first.
Right.
However, if you flip that around, i.e. the Batman, mind you, these are 2 massively different licenses. Like, I love Halloween, but it's not Batman.
Right.
The Batman comes out. It's a huge hit, massive hit. Most successful Batman movie since the Dark Knight trilogy.
Mhm.
Or Batman related movie anyway.
Yeah.
And they started with a movie.
Yeah.
And then there was supposed to be a like a Gotham PD TV series. I don't think that one's happening now. I think that got turned into an audio drama series. But we have the Penguin show coming to Max.
Right. Yeah.
So you get thinking about it, and it's like, yeah, you know what? A Halloween TV series, if it has a launching point, assuming they're not going to use, say, Halloween 78 as the launching point, if you give it a new movie, right? And whatever happens, we talked about endless possibilities
Yeah.
related to Halloween Returns last night, but you bring a new movie out, and then you follow the new movie up with a TV series. So you are building, constructing this new movie, not just to be a movie. It's not meant to be Halloween 1978, where the boogeyman gets shot 6 times, falls off a balcony, and then that's it.
Right.
Just disappears. That's not the case at all. They would be building it as, okay, here's our movie, but the movie is the foundation for the TV series. That doesn't necessarily mean the TV series main focus would be Michael Myers, but something in that movie is going to spring off the TV series, more than likely related to Michael Myers. Look at the way Halloween Returns ended their script with the into the post-credit scene, pardon me, and then Loomis is there. Your thoughts, dude, on the possibility of a Halloween movie prior to the TV series? Jimmy also stated, I think his timeline's a little quick and maybe a little ambitious.
Oh yeah.
But he thought movie 2025, TV series 2026. That being said, what have we been talking about on this channel for like a month?
2025, 2026.
Yeah, the extended rights for the Screenwriters and Actors Guild are only 3 years. That's it. So if you wanted to get the movie out and the first season of whatever series, that would be, in fact, the timeline you would have to do it in. And again, the person who messaged me is somebody that we used on this channel as a source a lot throughout Halloween Kills, a lot through Halloween Ends. Obviously, a big, like a really flawless track record through Halloween Kills. Got some stuff wrong during Ends, but you know, I'm hearing from him, and Jimmy has his video, and everything's been pretty quiet publicly. What do you think, dude? I'm inclined to believe not that this is just a possibility, but this is the direction that they're going to go, which would make 2025 even crazier.
Yeah, we've already talked about that. And this is kind of a curveball I didn't quite expect. I kind of thought TV series first to get something new and maybe updated out on release for people, but I did not take into account that a movie might come first and then lead into a TV series. So it's news to me, but it's definitely like a realistic direction and goal that could happen. So I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. I'm open for any new Halloween content for the most part, depending on story. But yeah, I think that actually makes more sense to try to crank a movie out in 2025, then follow it up with a series 2026 before any rights deals end for actors and writers. So it could be a safer bet, but whatever. I mean, we're in 2024 now. They have all this year to write a movie and then all next year to produce a film. So it does line up, and I think it's achievable.
Yeah, I think when you're doing something of this extent, if this is the route that they're in fact going, and I really hope that we get some kind of word publicly on it soon. Again, we're not confirming this is happening, but if you're asking me to make a prediction based off Jimmy's video, based off of the people that we've used as sources in the past, specifically one of them, and just again logically, the Batman was successful, and that's why there's interest in a TV series. If you launch a TV series, the ability to make a movie, which we know is their intent, they already announced they want both. the ability to make a movie after your TV series has debuted becomes 1,000 times harder. At least a successful one, it becomes 1,000 times harder. There's not much history of success with that at all. I'm not saying there's none, but it's very little. And it makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm kind of on of the line of thought, man, that I mean, it's crazy considering what we were talking about last night, but
Right.
I'm of the line of thought. If you ask me to bet, I'm betting we're getting a Halloween movie before we're getting a Halloween TV series. And if so, I really hope they go grounded and gritty so that the budgets don't balloon and at least financially they keep things in check so that creatively there's a chance to allow more storytelling.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would love to see a movie before a series, but like I said, I'll take kind of either or. But they could follow the movie up with the TV series and then a 50th anniversary movie in 2028. So there's that to look forward to. But yeah, if you write a series and depending on how deep that goes, it could make writing a movie that ties into the series a little more difficult. You flip it around, you do a 90 to 2 hour movie, you can expand on that in a TV series across a number of episodes, and they tie together, and then there's always room to expand. So I think that's probably the smarter and safer direction to probably go is crank out a movie, like you said, keep it kind of grounded and more realistic and along those lines. And then you have room to expand your TV series off that movie. So, like I said already, it's I think a more realistic and achievable direction.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Again, though, when you're writing that, that script, that screenplay, for your movie, has to be a solid found. You can't write this movie, go out, shoot it, and it doesn't have to make $100 million. It does not have to make $100 million, but it needs to be made for a fairly low amount of money. And most of your fan base or even general audience need to say, hey, that's a really good movie. I'm intrigued to see where that could go.
Right.
If you do that, you have a foundation.
Mhm.
If it's fucking terrible, and we're talking about H5 or Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, or even, hey, Halloween Ends for there's a portion of the fan base that loves it, probably a bigger portion of the fan base that hates it. You want something, you're never going to get everybody on board, but you want your foundation to at least be something that most of the fans can go, all right, let's see where this goes.
Yeah. That's what I would agree with. I'm on that side of, I think there's way more people that don't like Ends than are on board with it. But I mean, it could appeal to somebody. I'm not one of them, but I mean, there's a door left open at the end of Ends where you could take off from there and you could follow Allison. She drives out of Haddonfield. Where does Allison go? We don't know. So you could pick up there if, just as an example for creating a new series sort of in the Halloween universe with following a new character. And I believe Allison was kind of being set up to be like the next Laurie all across those 3 movies. So that's a direction you could definitely go. But yeah, I don't know. I that's not an avenue that I would explore. Like we've talked about, Myers is your biggest asset, so you want to aim for that and create something that's going to draw in, a bulk of your fan base. Maybe you make something on, like you said, lower budget, maybe in the $10 to $12 million range, and then it's a lot better, and it gives you room to expand and explore.
I know people aren't going to want to hear this, but again, this is why I say don't sleep on and if you remember, Braden and I talked about this when the announcement was made about the TV rights. I said, don't sleep on A24 being completely out on this deal yet.
Yeah.
Because if there's a company that produces, whether you like them or not, usually well reviewed and well-made films for very cheap, A24 is one of them. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm not saying we've heard anything. Definitely not. We wouldn't be in position for anything like that anyway.
Right.
But I wouldn't sleep on them being involved. I think you need a strong foundation though, dude. you mentioned, or sorry, we were just mentioning Halloween Ends, how there is potential launching points from there.
Mhm.
Not one that I would want, but
Nope.
there are. They're there, but
Mhm.
I don't suspect that's happening. Justin in the chat says, so what's the route? The only thing from Jimmy I saw about after H4, I think Justin is referring to how Jimmy was talking about a potential H4 sequel or requel, if you will. Look, again, I would love to see a continuation of Jamie Lloyd and Rachel Carruthers' story. For me, being the H4 diehard, um, that is literally the thing I want most.
Mhm.
But I accepted a long time ago that is very unlikely to ever
Yeah.
happen, and I don't think it'll happen in this case. And again, if it did, that's where I don't think Dwight's pitch of Halloween 4 Part 2 works. Is I don't think it can be Halloween 4 Part 2. I think it needs to be its own thing that would only loosely reference a past thing so that the general audience never needs to get it. And then it's not really a direct sequel to H4 at that point, is it? So I don't think it'll be H4 either. Honestly, I think the most conceivable thing is, I'm not saying Halloween Returns, but I'm saying something along the lines of what they did in Halloween Returns. The other thing that is completely possible, and in a way it's done in Halloween Returns, is we get some sort of new origin story for Michael, not like
Mhm.
where he's the focus or whatever, just that is different from what happens in the events of the 1978 film. Halloween Returns, as we talked about last night, that film's set in 2005.
Mhm.
There are just things that are different. It could be a new starting point. I actually wouldn't be shocked if it's a new starting point. Give us a new starting point where Laurie's not the focus.
Yeah.
I love the idea of returning the shape to being the shape. It's definitely exciting. I will say this though, if we're getting a movie first, you will hear about it soon. And when I say soon, that doesn't mean, oh my God, days away or weeks away, but like you would have to know that movie that would be slated for an October release next year or later. You would have to know about that movie happening probably at some point in the first half of this year.
Mhm. Yeah, I would agree. I think if they're going to go that direction, then some kind of idea has to be in place. We kind of speculated that for the TV series, um, that something had to be in the works. Not so much pre-production or anything, but at least ideas on the table, and some things floating around for them to even kind of give us any kind of hint at that. If you're getting into a movie, same thing. Like there's got to be some kind of ideas if they're gonna, pull some ideas from different scripts and taking shape. That's an avenue they can go. Um, but yeah, like you said, we're gonna have to hear something within the next few months, maybe later this year, around an October announcement for a film next year. It makes a lot of sense. Then you get the word out that the plans are there. Um, and then they have all next year to work on it and film and then get it out by October. So we mentioned earlier, the timeline, it lines up and it works. But yeah, they have to get something out there, I would say fairly soon. Um, in the next, I would say 4 or 5, maybe like 6 months, even if it's just some kind of like very light tease of like some type of official announcement.
There are so many just things that happen in the industry throughout the year, so many events where you unveil new things. Honestly, the number one place, and I'm telling you guys this right now, because I know there are people that roll their eyes out there whenever we ever had a report on anything, regardless of us getting things right or wrong. Um, but someone that you cannot debate with, someone who works in the industry, and literally his thing is to be a scooper.
Mhm.
If someone's going to have it first, it's going to be Jeff Snyder.
Yeah.
The Hot Mic, John Roca, Jeff Snyder, fantastic show. I know they can be a lot to handle at times, but like you want to talk about a scooper being right 90-95% of the time, and not just on like Halloween and horror, everything.
Yeah.
He's not a Star Wars fan at all. And guess what? He's one of the 3 guys on the planet that get Star Wars scoops right all the time too. So
Yeah.
um watch what he has to say. So, and you know what? If you really, I'm not saying I'm doing it because I don't have the money to do it, but if you really want to get an answer, you really want to get him in on something, go over and watch the Hot Mic. They do a live show, and you could submit a super chat. You're probably gonna have to. It's gonna have to have a some money behind it, and get your question on show. And if he can't answer your question, what he does, he says, "I'll look into that." And he legitimately does, and we'll get back to it. So again, if you've never heard of that show, Hot Mic, John Roca, Jeff Snyder, the In Snyder, if you will, he'll be the guy that has it first. In fact, when Halloween was first coming back, Jeff Snyder, when he was at Collider, that's a fact. When Halloween Kills was being eyed, Jeff Snyder again had mentioned he was the first to put out the possibility of oh my God. I can't remember the actor's name. Jake Gyllenhaal as the possibility, or at least a rumored possibility in Halloween Kills. And then he also had Anthony Michael Hall when he first came. He has a track record in Halloween as well. So if someone's going to have it, it's probably going to be him. But yeah, if a movie's happening, you're going to find out soon.
Yeah.
You'll find out details very soon. In terms of story details, though, I really, really hope people keep expectations very low for the next while, and that they don't get married to the idea that it needs to be a sequel to any of the existing films, because I don't think that's likely. We're going to break for a second. We got about 15 minutes left in the show, but we're going to break, and when we come back from a little 25-second break, if you will, Dean's going to have a show and tell for us. We put him on the spot. We didn't have time to prepare show and tell, and then we'll wrap the show up with any questions anybody might have had throughout the show or comments about Halloween. So feel free to get them in now. Yeah.
I tell you, Michael Myers is here in this town.
That was the intro to our Legacy of Halloween channel. If you haven't checked that out yet, go check it out. The Legacy of Halloween on YouTube. More content will be coming there. It's just we've been trying to right the ship over here, and things have been getting a lot better over here. So we can begin to focus outwards on our other channels we had started. Dean, what do you have this week, man, for show and tell?
All right. So we did a little impromptu pop-up stream for tonight to cover this movie rumor. And Shawn kind of threw it on me, like, if you have something for show and tell, we can fit it in, or if you can reach something behind you and show something off, then we'll include it. And I just realized I have not covered anything Halloween related on a Halloween show for physical media and show and tell yet. So I figured, what better night than right now? So this right here is the Halloween 1978 Lionsgate Steelbook. This was Best Buy exclusive. This happened right before they lost the rights for Halloween on physical media, and they went to Scream Factory for them to do their big editions they did back in like 2021. So this here, this is kind of the start of when Lionsgate started to do the clear covers with the design kind of incorporated. So it's a little tough to see, but if you can see on Michael's face right there, they included the title. I think there's a couple of leaves. No, they didn't do any leaf design really on the cover. But you take off your clear slip, and then you have your back that gives you your details on what's on your steelbook and included on your discs. And then you get this gorgeous steelbook right here. You got Michael on the front. You've got Laurie on the back. They did the leaf design all over the steelbook, which was a nice touch. Our spine just has the typical Halloween font logo right there. Not much going on inside of this, but you do get a Blu-ray and a 4K here. And this, like I said, was before it went to Scream Factory. So I first watched this. The transfer on it was beautiful. And then it went to Scream Factory. And of course, I had to buy that as well. And the comparison is close, but I think Scream Factory just edges it out a little bit with a little more of the detail. and some other technical aspects that they did to their 4K restoration, because they did go back and do an entire new scan ahead of Lionsgate doing this one here. So I don't think you can get this one anymore. I know you can't get the Steelbook unless you go aftermarket. You might be able to track down some old copies of the Lionsgate 78 regular 4K, but this is going to cost you some money if you try to get this now. This was a quick and short release because shortly after this came out and hit store shelves, Scream Factory picked it up and then started doing their all of their editions they did during 2021 and 2022. So this is nice. I almost passed on it. I'm glad I didn't. I think this was like a $22 Steelbook, and I think well worth the purchase, just because you get this awesome image of Michael right on the front and center. So yeah, a little bit short and sweet tonight, but Halloween 1978 4K Lionsgate Steelbook.
I had a chance to get that when it came out.
Oh, you should have grabbed it.
Was looking right at it.
Yeah.
You win some, you lose some, man.
Yeah, it happens.
I do have the Lionsgate version though, like the normal one, the normal 4K that came with the black case.
Yep.
Or the black slip cover, I believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, so there you have it. Halloween 4K. That brings us back to the movie, man. Ever since watching Jimmy's video and talking to our guy here at the channel and some other people, one which will be on the channel again. I can't remember if it's this coming Monday or the next Monday.
I think so.
But we have Braden Timmons coming up, and he's going to be talking about his new Halloween fan film, and looking forward to that. But it worries me, dude, because until this was brought up, I never really thought about the difficulty of doing a TV series and then getting it to lead into a major motion picture film in the cinema. It's not easy at all. And honestly, I don't know if they can do that if they start with a TV series. So now it's kind of like, okay, so if they have a movie in 2025, that's 3 years since Halloween ends. That's reasonable, I think.
Yeah.
Just your thoughts, man, on the idea of the potential movie first, and idea wise in terms of what the story is going to be. Do you have any brief thoughts before we wrap up on where you would go? My opinion is they go new, Michael Myers, but new.
Yeah. I would say something along those lines. Start fresh. Maybe do a different take on, like you said, his origin story. Go a little bit of a different direction. Story build, include characters, and if you're going to set this up for an eventual TV series, then flesh this out like really well. Leave the door open at the end, and leave it questionable for us to get those answers across the series, a year later or whenever it's going to come out. So I would like to see kind of a fresh start. Nothing too crazy and out of the norm. Like, don't Rob Zombie Part 2 it, and things like that. But yeah, keep something grounded. Go back to the beginning. Bring Michael back to his roots. Maybe borrow some elements from Halloween Returns or some other canceled scripts. But try to pull some decent ideas that really line up with the Halloween formula. Start your foundation there, like you said, and then as I said, develop some characters and leave your door open at the end to lead into your TV series. I think that's going to be your best bet to kind of set up this little cinematic universe that they're kind of aiming for.
We'll get to questions in the comment section, or comments in the comment section in a moment. So get them in now if you have anything you want to throw out there as an idea for the new Halloween movie. We always knew there was another movie coming. And we're not saying that it's definitely going to be first, but the more you think about it, it makes a lot of sense. So I think Jimmy was definitely onto something there. And again, the people that I've had a chance to talk to don't think otherwise. So We'll see what happens. It makes a lot of sense. It's weird that we've been talking about this for weeks now, off and on, sprinkled into some of our shows, and we never really came up with oh yeah, you know what? It's really hard to go from TV to movie, but movie to TV is a lot more doable.
Yeah.
And I don't really have any story ideas other than I just hope people don't cling to like the return of Jamie Lloyd or some other Laurie Strode story. I think other than Michael Myers, it's going to be maybe Loomis. It's going to be a clean slate.
Yeah, I would definitely go for the clean slate. Start fresh. That's I think the most logical place to go. Ground it in reality and definitely try to set yourself up for a series in the best way possible.
Steve said towards the beginning of the show, read the script last night for Halloween Returns. I want that movie made. Yeah, man, it's really good, and I'm really excited that we have at least a couple more weeks of talking about Halloween Returns on this channel. So it's definitely going to be something that we revisit, and we haven't brought it up to some of our other channel mates yet, but I do like the idea of going over onto our Patreon and maybe doing a read through of the script in a couple of parts. So that could be fun. Let's see. Steve also added in, if that movie got made, it would have been easily top 3 of the franchise for me. Well, we know where Steve's ranking's going to rank here in a couple weeks. So that's an episode we're planning. Alessandra says, I still have to read the script myself. I don't want to get left behind. Got to get her hooked up on that, Dean.
I think I took care of it. Yeah, I took care of it a little earlier.
Good. What's going on, Kenny? Sorry, I missed some of this. Justin says, whoa, he made it to a live. Yeah, Justin was a little confused earlier. He thought that Jimmy was saying that this new TV series and movie were going to spawn from H4. And I don't think he was saying that. And nor do I think that's going to happen. Although I would be for it. Saying that now, I would be for it. I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So the franchise isn't even going to pause to take a breath. Well, I mean, it's already been, October this year will be 2 years since the last one.
Yeah.
October next year will be 3 years since the one before that. The rights were sold in October.
Yeah, end of last year.
Or October, early November, something like that. Yeah, they're not going anywhere. Malika Cat definitely doesn't want to let the franchise stagnate again like it has in the past. If he has a way to continue to make content that he perceives can make money and is, decent, then they're going to continue to pursue those avenues, them and Miramax. So it makes sense. So, hey, the way I would say is, even if you're a Halloween fan, if you need to take a break, take a break. I don't watch all Star Wars stuff. I just recorded a trailer reaction to a Star Wars animated series. I used to watch everything Star Wars, included all the animated stuff too. And now it's like, oh, there's so much of it. And a lot of it's just like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
And I get it if you're burnt out. I'm not, though, because I don't want to come across seeming like a Halloween Ends whiner on here or anything, because I'm totally okay with the people that love the film. And I think I'm more pissed at the film because, like, when you listen to the score and you look at the cinematography and just the set design, it's really fucking good in those areas.
Yeah.
The sound design too, and that's what makes me more mad, though, because it's like you had the half that can enhance an already good film, but I just don't think the film is good. So for me, and again, we were talking about that in March or April of 2022. So for me, the wait has been going for a while.
Quite a while.
I'm ready for fresh Halloween content. I really am. I just hope it's that. I hope it's fresh.
Yeah, that's 100% what I'm hoping for. I kind of touched on it a couple times here already, but give us new, fresh, and grounded in reality, and then take us a good, fun, decent direction to move further.
If we're going to get another Halloween movie, I do not want another remake at all. No, I want somewhere fresh. again, I'm okay with them reusing Loomis, Myers, but after that, I don't know, man. I mean, obviously, I'd be okay with the H4 continuation. I've accepted the fact that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Chris says he would love a H4 direct sequel. Me too, buddy. I just don't think it's happening. He too needs to get the Halloween Return script. Again, I know a couple of guys that might be able to hook you up with that. Byron said he liked the Steel book. Just want to make sure I didn't miss anything here. It's a shame Halloween Returns wasn't made, and the same goes for Halloween Retribution. We're going to talk about Halloween Retribution. We're going to talk about it on this channel. I don't know if it's going to be the next thing we cover after Halloween Returns. Dean and I are going to sit down and discuss what one will be the next one. But Halloween Retribution is definitely going to be one that's talked about, and probably not too long from now, buddy. Steve says, I would rather see new content around H50, but if the movie is original, I'm down for it. Wait, so why is the route they're doing suspecting, or is it not known? I'm not sure I know what he means there. Do you?
I'm wondering if he kind of means like we just don't know exactly what they're going to do yet, because obviously we don't. You know, we kind of had the idea that TV series was going to come first, but this is a curveball that kind of hit us that we didn't think about. So probably that.
Yeah, and honestly, it's one that makes all the sense in the world.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, again, I don't think anybody knows the creative direction other than when you're paying for these rights, you're paying, you're spending money to use Michael Myers. That's
Absolutely.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, other than it will in some way, shape, or fashion eventually or start with Michael or get to Michael, I think that's a safe bet. Although, look at last night, we're talking about Halloween Returns, and there's a chunk of that story that, again, alludes to the Charlie Bowles story from Halloween 78. And, like, again, give me a Charlie Bowles miniseries that, for whatever reason, is spawned off of this movie or something, and give me 4 episodes of the Charlie Bowles story. I'll sign up for it.
Yeah.
Stuff like that would be cool.
Yeah, they could weave that into the TV series if they're creative enough, which the potential is there. But like we talked about last night, that's a story that hasn't been explored, and there's room to do it. So 2-3 episodes, and you can cover that. Like, it works.
Jimmy says, what about the movie bridge, the time between 78 and 88? Myers and Smith Grove, snippet of the trial, attorney prepping Myers could be fascinating. There's so many different ways they could go with this. I still like the idea of doing a period piece set in the 90s, but that's just me. There's endless possibilities of where they could go with it. We got to get off here, though. There's another show waiting for us. Halloween 4 direct sequel makes the most sense. Plus H4 was underrated to me. If the mask would have been better, I still say, man, the H4 mask in certain lighting, and when oh my God, we'll come back to this. We'll come back to this Monday. I'll make note of it. We'll talk about the H4 mask. It is not hard to remember. John says if they made a good movie / series, I don't think a break is needed. It's all about quality. Bang on, man. Comment on the show. If you haven't yet, like, comment, subscribe, / the notification bell to keep up to date with everything we have going on at the channel. If you happen to be a Star Wars fan, coming up next, Star Wars The Bad Batch final season trailer reaction and review, plus 25 years of the Phantom Menace, some tidbits from that movie, as well as a look back at the Phantom Menace video game. For Dean, I'm Shawn. Big thanks to everybody that comes to the channel and does their part. The patrons, without you guys, we wouldn't be here. The channel sponsors, without you guys, we would not be here. Until next time, we'll see you again. The Boogeyman, he's coming back.